What's up, big bro? Welcome to PKF Topics.
Man, thanks for having me, bro. Thanks for having me, for sure.
Man, glad to have you on.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Salaethiel.
Salaethiel.
Okay,
Yeah.
man. Yeah. Great. Hey, I gotta tell you, man, I know for a fact, man, when I first met you, great father. You had an aura over yourself. Man, hey, I gotta ask you though, man, where did the nickname Lalo come from?
Man, you young. It used to be lay dog, right? That's before all the cripping and all the bull crap, right? And then I always said when I did get into the cripping, I'm gonna be a crazy crip. So I said lay loke, you know what I mean? And that's what stuck with me, just young and stupid, you dig?
Awesome. A young lady by the name of Sonia Massey was fatally shot. Nah, Sonia Massey was fatally shot by Sheriff Deputy Sean Grayson in her home near Springfield, Illinois, shortly after she called the police for help. Your thoughts from a father's point of view?
Man, from a father's point of view, I mean, you always nervous about your kids or, especially being out here in this world, man, and these police doing what they doing. And I ain't saying all the police, you know what I mean? But I always ask people, man, if it's good police, where they at? You dig? That lady said in the beginning she was scared. She already had a fear. And as a police, I feel like you should have a lot more restraint in being able to deal with the community. And if you don't know that community, it's hard to deal with them, right? So if you feel like a pot of water is a threat, that's a sad situation for all of us, not just Sonya Massey.
Awesome. In your opinion, what are some negative impacts on a kid growing up in a father's home?
I mean, it's always gonna be some negative in the fatherless home. I mean, I can just speak. I can't speak of a fatherless home. I had a stepdad, right? And I had a real dad. My real dad wasn't around. For whatever reasons, we didn't click. And then my stepdad, when I found out he wasn't my dad, it's a whole story to that too, bro. Like, I grew up thinking that was my dad. So when I found out around 10 that wasn't my dad, it messed me up. That's where I was always into shit, but that's where I kind of started just like, right? So I can't imagine how it'd be without a father, but I can tell you what it is for a young man to not know who his real dad is. You know what I mean? Or be put in a life to believe that this is your dad, right? So when me and my dad finally met, we really didn't click and we didn't get along, man. And it started having kind of resentment towards my stepdad because I felt like he never told me what was up. And then I had resentment towards my mama because I felt like she lied, right? So if I'm going through this and I got 3 parents, I can imagine what it would be for a dude without a father or a little girl, man. Like it's so much information and so much genealogy that you don't know if you don't know who your dad is, right? You lose a part of yourself, right? So I feel like every man out here and every adult male that has a kid should do whatever it takes to be in their kid's life. Period.
Awesome. I watched your ministry you shared with me. Very impressive, by the way. I listened to you tap into the word family. What is a family to you? And from your perspective, is family undervalued in today's society?
Family to me is everything, man. Like, it's everything. That's what I grew up with. I had a grandmother, man, and I got like over 70 something first cousins. So we'd be deep at my grandmother's house. You see them photos they post on Facebook where people sleep everywhere, and man, we would be everywhere. You had to tippy toe through to get through us, man. I had an uncle, man, we stayed with, man. We'd be at his house all the time, man, in the country. And we'd be so deep, man. And he would come home late at night after work, and man, I see him tippy-toeing through us, man. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome.
You know, it's nothing like that, dude. Like, you can't get no better environment than that, man. So family for me is everything. And the way I look at it is, I got a lot from my grandmother, right? So, like, I got uncles that's married to my aunties that ain't married no more, and we still call them unc, and they still come to family reunions, right? So for me, it's not about blood relations. It's about the existence that you have with each other. You see what I'm saying? The trials that you went through with each other, the comforts that you gave each other, right? Family is more than just your blood, man, your DNA. You know what I mean? I got a partner, your brother. That's my family, man. You dig? So if I'm wherever I'm at and we around my family, he gonna always be welcome. You dig? So family is very, very much of a value to me. Today's family values suck. Right? You got brothers and sisters that don't talk to each other. You got cousins that grew up like brothers and sisters with you and they don't talk to you. You got kids saying, man, I don't mess with him. And that's their first cousins, man. So to me, I don't understand today's value on family. I see a lot of people put on Facebook, everybody, just because they blood ain't your family. That's the most idiotic bullshit I ever heard. Excuse my language. It's just crap, man.
I agree.
For me, understandably, we always gonna have issues. We ain't gonna always see eye to eye. But that don't mean I cross you out as a family member. You see what I'm saying? I know for a fact I got cousins that stole from me. So, that shit don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? It means absolutely nothing. Money means nothing. Objects mean nothing. So if you willing to let go of your family for mediocre things, you never had it in you in the beginning. That's just who you are. You are the type of person that do not know how to deal with shit and get through it. You know what I mean? And like I said, man, it's always a solution. The solution, I tell my wife all the time, man, you don't have to. I love all my family. That don't mean I like them. It's just a difference. So I don't have to show my dislike, right? If we all gonna be together, I know it's some areas in your life that I like you. We may be able to talk about cars. That's where I hang with you at. Once you start talking about selling dope, it's time for me to move over because I don't get down with that. You know what I'm saying? So if you're a part of a family, bro, you got to understand that we all different. It's some things you ain't going to like about me. I'm cool with that. But then there's some things you're going to be like, man, that's my guy, right? And that's where you focus on. If we focus more on the positives than we do on the negatives, and let me clear that up. We ain't even gonna focus on the positive. If we focus more on self-assessing ourselves, we could understand that we can get along with anybody and we can forgive anybody. You dig? So that's my family values.
Awesome. Are you familiar with a lady by the name of Sarah Rector, born March 3rd, 1902, in native territory, now known as Taft, Oklahoma?
I've heard of the name, but I'm not really familiar with her. Where I'm at in Oklahoma City, man, we had a family of the Andersons, and they had it's a street in Oklahoma. It's in Oklahoma County, but it's Anderson Road, and I don't even know how far or how long that road is. But as long as that road is what that name is, that's as much land that they owned in that city. But as far as the Roth, I never really did any research, man. You know, Oklahoma got a lot of black history, man. People don't realize there's a lot of black history down there, man.
Awesome. You also stated something like sometimes you think that humans were programmed to be separate. Can you elaborate?
Yeah, man. I mean, I've been like thinking about ever since I've been in school, man. Like, so we moved from the north side of my city to a place called Edmond, Oklahoma. So it's predominantly white, right? Now I grew up with whites, Mexicans, Asians. I grew up with everybody on the north side. So we all just kind of, hung out, maneuvered, right? When I moved to Edmond, I noticed the difference in the cultures, right? On how people was treated. You see what I'm saying? And it just made me start thinking that everything we got it's a division, right? Just take for instance, we all wearing clothes, right? Some of these clothes came from places that probably you ain't gonna buy. So it's, oh, you bought your clothes from over here and you bought your clothes from over. Everything we do is a division. You know what I mean? I eat healthy, you don't eat healthy. Oh, I dress in cowboy boots, I still wear tennis shoes. You know, everything we see, everything we do is a division with it, man. So I believe that our brain has been programmed to just accept that we all have all these differences in reality, man. We all born and we all die. You dig? At the end of the day, we all born and we all die. You can't get around neither one of them. You see what I'm saying? So everything else in the middle don't matter. But we make it matter because our minds are, or our mindsets or they programmed, bro. Everything we watch, everything we intake, man, are conversations. And if we don't change it, and I'm not saying it's gonna change overnight, but we gotta change the way we think about things, man. Like Crip and Blood or GDs and Vice Lord, man, we all black. We all in the same struggle.
That's right.
What the hell we fighting for? What's separate about it? Ain't nothing. You doing the same thing over on the west side that I'm doing on the south side or the north side. You know what I'm saying? Like it ain't no different. It's no separate shit, man. We just make it that way because that's the way we think. Our mindsets are jacked up. And that go from grade school up, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's valid. Definitely a valid point. Do you remember what you were doing and where you were at April 19th, 1995, the day of the Oklahoma City bombing?
Man, I was in the projects. Now I say projects, man, our projects is just really a lot of apartment buildings. There ain't no high rises or none of that, you know what I mean? But I was in the projects, right? At my kid's mother's house. And I heard a big boom. So we probably 8 miles from downtown. So I heard a big boom. Didn't think nothing of it. I'm thinking the kids in there, messing around. I ain't tripping. Mm-hmm. And then I get a phone call from my cousin. He say, man, they just blew the building up down. I'm like, what? And my mom's, everybody started, the phone just started ringing. So I turn on the TV. And this before cell phones, right? This before cell phones. You got pages. You had them big phones, but it wasn't everybody had them, right? So they hit me up, man, and I turn the TV on, man, and I see all these police down there. And me and my kid's mother is watching it, and she said, I was just in that building yesterday to take the kids to go get something they had to do, because they had a lot of different stuff in that building. And she was in that building, man. You know what I mean? So fortunately, I don't know anybody that got hurt in there or if anybody got killed. I don't know if I knew them or not. As far as I know, I didn't know anybody that got hurt up in there. But it was a bad situation, man. It was a bad situation.
Man, awesome. How are you blood related to a Cherokee native and blood related to a Chickasaw native?
All right, so my mother's mother, her mother, so it'll be my great-grandmother, was full-blood Chickasaw Indian. My dad's dad, his mother was full-blood Cherokee. Wow. So my great-grandmothers were both full-blood Indians.
Awesome. What were their skin color?
Red. excuse me, but we read. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just what it is. Like you get it's just a different tone, right? It's not a brown, it's not a black, it's just kind of a red tone, man. That's what they look like.
Awesome. Do you have any word of the mouth, passed down stories about your Cherokee and Chickasaw heritage?
Man, my grandmother, the only thing she told us is she spoke her native tongue up until she got a stepmother, right? And they kind of cut that out, I guess. But she spoke her native tongue. I don't know at what age she stopped, but that's what she told me. And then on my dad's side, I didn't get to meet her, but they called her Mama Tom. My sisters them grew up with her, but they said she used to make the pipes that you smoke, you know what I mean? Yeah, she used to do that.
Man, that's awesome. Can you give me some differences between the city of Oklahoma and St. Louis, Missouri?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of differences, man. So me and your brother used to sit in that trash truck and talk about, you know, what Oklahoma looked like, you know what I mean, what was different about it or whatever, man. And man, to me, Oklahoma is it's spread out. It's a city, it's a huge city. And if it was built up, it would be bigger than Houston. Square mileage wise, it's bigger than Houston, right? So it's so much land that you think you may be out of the city, but you're still in the city. You see what I'm saying? And then the difference between St. Louis and Oklahoma City is in St. Louis, all your municipalities are outside of the city. In Oklahoma, you have municipalities within the city. Yeah, so you might be in Oklahoma City, then you'll hit Dale City. You'll hit Midwest City. Then you'll be back in Oklahoma City. So it run like that, man. It's pretty stretched out.
Awesome. Do you have some Oklahoma slang that you haven't heard people in St. Louis use?
Yeah, man, we always sitting back looking at it or something. We say something like that, man. If somebody say, "What you doing, man?" Oh, man, sitting back looking at it. You know, I don't hear too many people say that up here, man. You know what I'm talking about? Sitting back looking at it, man. You know? I mean, that's what you're doing, right? Hey.
Oh, awesome. All right, from your experience, what were some differences in lifestyle between living in the country versus living in the city of Oklahoma?
Man, I say, man, if you ain't been in the country, you missing out, bro. I done been to some of the best parties in the country, man.
Really?
Oh, man, my uncle was a DJ, bro, so he throw his stuff up on the porch, dog. Over in Madill, Oklahoma, my uncle Bobby, dog, he was a DJ, so he had the big boy speakers and stuff. So he'd throw a party, bro, and I mean, we'd be out all night. I'm talking about they called it the Hill. So the Hill was where all the black folks stayed. You know, you go across the tracks, that's where the white folks stayed. But everybody on that hill, bro, your kids, everybody was safe, man. I don't care if it was the town drunk to whatever. Everybody was safe, man. You kick it on that place, man, and kick it. He would throw them parties, man. Everybody be out in the front yard, walking around, doing whatever up in the house. It was just live, man. The other fact on the country, bro, you get taught how to survive. You know what I'm saying? You know, the drugs and shit came later in them country towns, man. But in the country, man, it was a way of survival, bro. You had my uncle would take us fishing and tell us if you don't catch nothing, you gotta walk back. Right? That's how he motivated us, right? Put that fear that you gotta walk through them woods. You know what I mean? Back to the house by yourself. You gonna be out there doing whatever you can to catch some fish, you dig? Or when they took us hunting, dog, man, I had my Uncle Bobby, Wayne, my cousin Wayne, a cousin Ray. Man, they teach us how to load the guns, how to carry them when we walking through the woods. what we was looking for. Don't shoot if you ain't got a good clear sight. Like they just taught us all kind of survival modes that we didn't never think we was gonna need. In the country, we didn't, it was so many of us, it wasn't like everybody had money to go do things. So my uncle would always give us like $1 and he'd say, go buy some newspapers in the middle of town and sell them. So you get $1, I don't know how many newspapers you get, but they went for $1 so you could buy so many for $1 and then sell them and then go back and buy some more and sell them. So that's how we did our hustling, man, to get the candies and the burgers or them little strawberry banana shakes and stuff like that, man. But versus the city, the country is a slower pace, but it actually, for me, it helped me adapt to any pace. You dig? So if we get into the woods, I'm cool. You know what I mean? I gotta find my bearings, but I'm gonna make my way out of there. The city, man, the city is different because it's always something moving. You know what I mean? Like, it's always something going on. So you don't have to make up nothing really in the city, man. You can walk outside and somebody doing something. In the country, you gotta make up some things to do, man. You gotta invent, be creative, and you know what I mean? Come up with ideas or whatever. The city was just, and I'm gonna say this, man. Them country boys rougher than them city boys, man.
I can believe it.
Man, we played karate, man. It wasn't no, you my cousin, I'm gonna take it easy on you. Man, they kicked me in my neck, man. I'm talking about drop down fights, right? And get up and just be cool. And that's what I respected about them country boys, man. They'd throw them things with you and get up and then, drink a beer or talk some shit or, it wasn't no, let me go try to take this dude head off type shit. You know what I mean? It was just, we handled it like men and we get up and go do our thing. So that's how my mindset growing up was. I'm not no killer. I'm a protector. But for black folks, man, we warriors. You know what I mean? So I don't have to be a killer to know that I will defend myself by all means. You dig what I mean? So in the city, man, I took my country roots and what all my cousins and my uncles taught me, and I just adapted it to that, man. So, I live my life as a man. We men. So if you got a problem, we gonna handle it like a man. I ain't gonna bring no 20 cats with me because me and you got a problem. You know what I'm saying? I might come to your neighborhood for you. I'm gonna tell your home, hey, I don't mean no disrespect, but I got a problem with your homeboy. And that's just what it is. Now I ain't finna do that. Now I'm old. But back then I didn't that's just what it was, man. I'm not finna be scared to go nowhere. Mm-hmm. Nowhere.
Man, that's awesome. So did you learn that shotgun handshake from the country?
Country boys, man. Country boys, they always told me, man, you shake a man's hand, you put a grip on it. And then it wasn't only for the men too. My daddy always taught me, you let a woman know it's a man on the other side of that handshake. You know what I'm saying? So I don't do a woman as hard as I would a man, but I'll let her know, how you doing, But a man, I'm gonna make sure we all know we men around here, homeboy. What's happening? Ain't nothing soft around here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a dynamite handshake.
I appreciate it, man. That's my daddy, man. My daddy put that on me, man. Straight up.
Oh man, so let's go back to the DJing. What kind of music was they playing in Oklahoma back then?
Everything you was listening to. Okay. Anything you can name, bro. I mean, Marvin Gaye. Charlie Wilson from Oklahoma, bro. Okay. The Gap Band. You know what Gap stand for, right? Mm-hmm. So you heard of that Black Wall Street?
Yeah, Oklahoma.
So Gap is Greenwood, Archer, and Pine. That's in Tulsa. That's Black Wall Street. That's our history, bro. So it ain't no music we ain't listen to that ain't nobody else listen to, bro. We got, now I can say this as far as rap, we got a lot more Southern rap and West Coast rap than we did East Coast rap.
Okay.
Coming through Oklahoma City. But as far as R&B, everything.
Awesome. Okay. Are there any words you can find to describe for me how it feels to be a father?
Man, I have my ups and downs with being a father because I started being a father late. You know, I've always been around my kids, but I didn't understand quality time as a father. And I missed a lot of opportunities with my kids as far as father time. But just to know that I got people out here walking on this earth that look like me and got some values from me, and that's the greatest feeling, bro. That's like the ultimate accomplishment. You know what I mean? Having some kids and they adapting through life, through what you taught them, or trying to figure it out because they hard-headed like you was, you know. So I don't knock my kids on whatever they do. My mother, she allowed me to live my life at an early age, man. So I kind of instilled that with my kids too. If you can't listen at home, you got to figure things out. So, but it's a great feeling being a father, man. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world, man.
Man, that's awesome.
For sure.
Is there a lot of black natives you know that own land in Oklahoma?
Man, I couldn't tell you, bro, because that's what I was just telling my wife. I really want to do some research on finding the Indian side of my grandmother's side of her peoples. But as far as I know, I couldn't tell you, man.
Fair enough. I was watching the movie, a 1956 film called Searchers with John Wayne. He was painted a hero fighting against the Comanche natives, while the Comanche natives was painted as the villains. What was your thoughts on that narrative?
I mean, it's just like I said, man, we was all taught separation, bro, right? So, I mean, this is for me, and I'm gonna ask this question, man. As a black man, how can I see anybody of color as a villain when I know my history and what my color was put through, right? So if you think about it, man, most of the Indians got wiped out. Their population ain't that big, right? Then you got black Indians like my grandmother, black and Indian like my grandmother was, that population, right? But they mostly gonna go with the black side, right? I mean, I like John Wayne movies, but was he a hero? No. You know, but that's our history. That's some real shit. But I think people shouldn't look into the movie and say, "Oh yeah, he was a real stand-up guy." That shit ain't real. I mean, if it was, it just ain't real, dog. I can't look. So, like I told you before, we warriors. Our ancestors are warriors. So are the Indians. They beat by the drum just like we do. You see what I'm saying? Anybody that beat by the drum, man, I can tell you, man, they are protectors. They gonna protect their land. So if that makes me a villain to protect my women and my children and my peoples, because it wasn't like it is today, man. Like, if we in a community, we all, me, you, and Brian, we all got our community and we got our wives and we got our kids, and somebody come in and try to take our land, what we gonna do? What we gonna do? We gonna be the villains because you came in and took my land? Nah, them folks was out there hunting and taking land and killing animals that the Indians believe if you don't have a use for killing that animal, don't kill it, right? So you taking our women, you taking our land, you killing animals and just leaving carcasses, you destroying our community. So who's the villain?
Awesome. I got one for you. How were you introduced to gang banging in Oklahoma City?
Man, gang banging in Oklahoma City. I'm gonna say my gang banging let's see, what kind of word can I put with that? Curiosity started around 10. We went to visit my sister in LA. She stayed in Inglewood. So I'm sitting on her front porch, me and her sitting on the front porch, and it's a white, pure cocaine white Cadillac drop top rolled by and got like 4 cats in there. Every last one of them in all red. So they riding by that, hit us up. What's up, blood? What's up? I ain't know. Wasn't even with the business. Didn't know nothing about it, man. But it was like, it's intriguing when you see your peoples doing some shit you ain't never did. You know what I mean? Or seen, you know what I mean? So that's where my intriguement came from. 10, right? Another time at like 12, I'm in Tulsa with my cousin and she introducing her boyfriend. So remember, I told you I changed my name from Lay Dog to Lay Low because of Crazy Crip, right?
Yes, sir.
So her boyfriend had 2 C's burnt.
Like Randy?
Branded. So when I asked him at 12, hey, what's that? He said, oh, that's Crazy Crip. And it stuck with my head, right? I'm not cripping at the time, but it just stuck with me. Right? So all these different encounters that I've been having just led up to some shit. So at, let's say 13, 14, me and my partner started up Black Mafia. Nothing to do with Big Meech, never met Big Meech, never heard of Black Mafia family until all of that stuff kicked off. This was when I was in 7th grade.
Okay, so nothing.
Nothing to do with none of that. This was just Black Mafia because he was from Folks. He was from Minnesota. So he wanted to bless everybody on Folks. And I said, if you got to get blessed on something, I don't want nothing to do with that. Because I ain't know nothing about that. Blessed? What you talking about, bro? So he was like, well, hey, man. So I'm like, nah, man, I want to do something, but I don't want it to be Folks because we ain't Folks. There ain't no Folks here. So he was like, what about Black Mafia? And I'm like, that's nice. I like that. So you can't see it, man, but I carved it. Lay Dog, Black Mafia, right? So we get it all orchestrated. We had our little rules, you know what I mean? Like at the time, man, I don't know. We was just doing some shit, and I would tell her like our rules was like, you had to make a 2.50, right? You can't be no dummy, right? Okay. We don't want no dummies on the set, right? You gotta fight. You can't cover up, man. You gotta fight.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So if you fight one or you fight all, you gotta fight. That was the rules, right? So we did that for a year or 2, and we got deep. It was getting thick, man. So we had the neighborhood, all the neighborhood gangs in our schools called Eisenhower Middle School. So we had the Broadway Parks, we had the CBG, City Boy Gangsters. And then where we lived at, it was just the Village and Chisholm Creek and Bel Air and all that. So the Yorktown apartments, we really didn't have nothing. So that's why we created the Black Mafia, right? For everybody that was over there. So we ended up getting thick, man. To this day, I still got cats to be like, what that Black Mafia like? You know what I mean? Like, we still repping it, but it kind of died out like 9th grade. We got to went to high school, it kind of died out, right? My brother-in-law was from Grape Street. So I started hanging with the Grape Streets at 14, kicking it with them. My cousin from Grape Street, so I'm kicking it with them. So I go to LA one time and I got them purple milkshakes with me, right there in my bag, right? So I'm about, boom, I get them out, my cousin. He say, what you finna do with them? So I finna throw them on. He was like, for what? I said, what do we wear down there? He was like, oh, you from Grape? I'm like, nah, really ain't got to put on. That's what I hang with. He like, nah, if you gonna bang, you got to be from Harlem. You know what I mean? So I'm like, he was like, ain't gonna do nothing right now. You know what I mean? But I'm just letting you know, man, if this is what you want to do, man, you got to be from Harlem 30s. And, I'm like, all right. So I'm thinking about it. I go back home in Oklahoma. I'm chilling. I'm still hanging with the Grapes. And then my brother-in-law, he from LA. It was his nephew that told me. He coming back through with a pit from Arkansas or somewhere. He's like, hey, you want to ride back to the crib with me? I'm like, yeah. So I checked myself out of school. Like I took everything, transcripts, everything. I'm ready to go live, right? So we headed back to LA, get back out there, and I'm, boom, first thing I do, my cousin come through. His name was Crazy D, man, rest in peace, man. He come through, he like, wanna ride? I'm like, yep. So boom, we burn out. He's like, what you wanna do? I'm like, man, I gotta give me some shoes, man. So we go to the swap meet, give me some K-Swiss, right? So I'm trying to check myself in school, right? So the whole time I'm hanging with him, and my sister find out I done got put on. You know what I mean?
So it wasn't jumped in?
Nah, I wasn't jumped in by the set, put on by my cousin now.
Awesome.
Right? So my sister find out, and she like, you gotta go. You can't stay here. You know what I mean? And I'm mad, but I know what she doing, you know what I mean? But I'm young, right? So shit, I'm like 15, 16. 16, I'm 16 at the time. So I go back home. I stayed up there about a month. I go back home, but I'm repping 30s. You know, fuck that. I'm still from 30s. You know what I mean? I might not be in LA, but I'm still gonna bang 30s Crip. So everywhere I went, man, I hit niggas up from 30s Crip, you know. And I meet some niggas that's from 30s Crip that's from Oklahoma, and I got some cats that I know from LA that's from 30s, you know what I mean? But my cousin ended up, I went back out there one more time, and this was right after that damn riot, that Rodney King shit.
Okay.
So wasn't nothing really going on, you know what I mean? It was real chill. The riots was active, but it was kind of chill in the LA, you know. So that was the last time I seen my cousin though. He ended up getting killed, man. So, but I still, you know, I felt like, you know, it was just meant to be. You know what I mean? I've been going through this curiosity with everything, and somebody tell me finally, hey, this your home. This is what you gonna do. You know what I mean? And it just, boom, I'm from there, you know? So I'm lay low from Harlem 30s, you know what I mean? And it been that ever since, so.
Awesome. So you mentioned gangs
Yep.
were like tribes.
Yeah, that's what I feel in my heart, man. We gravitate to the gangs because our ancestors and our culture is based on tribes, man. So it's easier to communicate with people, you know, because you had your warriors, which was with our Crips and Bloods, Vice Lords and GDs, they warriors, man. Essays, they warriors, man. So I feel like we kind of gravitate to that, you know what I mean? Just because of those reasons. And the extra shit is just the stuff that comes along with being a part of that, you know what I mean? Which I think we could change, you know, especially with these youth today, bro. It's getting out of hand, man. So, you know, it's bad.
Okay, so what places should out of towners avoid hanging out in Oklahoma City?
Oklahoma City built different, man. So it ain't no place. It's spots. You know what I mean? Like you could be good anywhere in the city, but if at any given moment you might just be in a bad spot. You know what I mean? Like we don't have like these high-rise projects or whatever. We got a lot of apartments, so it's a place called Lyrewood Lane. You go over there, on the outside, it looks nice, you know, but you get up in there and it's just all apartment buildings. So you just might get robbed, you know what I mean? Somebody might come through, what's happening, whatever. It's just different little sections, man, that you might get caught up, you know what I mean?
Oh man, that's awesome, man. So we're gonna ride out with this one. What advice could you pass on to the younger generation who's gang banging or even thinking about joining the gang?
Man, I would have to go back to self-assessing. Why? You know, what purpose is it for? Is it for your community? Then we should see some good. Is it for self? Like most of us, you know, we get caught up trying to get a name, trying to get a reputation, and it don't add up to nothing. You can ask anybody that's been gang banging over 10 years, what they get out of it? Shit. Shit. You know, some bumps, some scratches, some bruises, some stab wounds, some pistol whip marks. I mean, a bunch of shit. You know what I mean? So if to me, I'm not mad about having a community. You know, we can still be the same thing we are, but make it about the community. You know, make it about the kids in that community. Make it about the women in that community. You know what I mean? Let's get back to what it really was for. You know what I mean? Like, leave the extra, all that shooting each other for nothing. Man, I hold us, our generation, responsible for that. Because some of us was in prison. Some of us decided to go turn ourselves and get jobs, turn a different leaf. And some of us was still in the hood, not being about shit. I hold us accountable for that, man. So for me, it's on me and whoever in my area. We should be reaching out to these youths and letting them know, these youngsters, man, letting them know they going down a bad path, bro. A bad path. You know what I mean? It ain't nothing but prison and death waiting for you. And I think they really need to be shown that instead of us just telling them that. Like, this is what I asked my partner, man. He from East Coast 6'9" Crip. I asked him, bro, how many times did you celebrate coming home from prison versus coming home from the military or college? And you know what he did? He said, damn. He couldn't even remember celebrating nobody coming home from military or college. But he remember everybody he celebrated coming home from prison. See, our mindsets are messed up, dog. We think backwards. The good is not cool. The bad is what everybody want. But the bad is what we need to put in these get these youngsters' mindsets looking at it in a different light. I'm not happy you went to prison. If we start saying that, bro, it's not cool to go to prison. Absolutely. It's not cool to take a life. Know what I'm saying? You got a problem with a dude? I'm all for it. Let's go over there and talk to that cat. Let me see what them hands look like. And then after that, we're gonna shake hands, we're gonna give each other a hug, and it's dead. Right? If more of us would do some shit like that with these youngsters, because these are our little cousins, these are our nephews, these is our little brothers. We know who in the community acting a fool, right? Because I think most of us don't want to be like, oh man, you a sucker ass nigga, man. You get sold out, you know. Who cares, man? We lived our life. It's time for us to sacrifice whatever that look like, sacrifice what we got going and put it back into these youngsters, man, and let them know. You look at today, bro, you don't know who is who. You don't know if that's a little boy, that's a little girl. You don't know if that's a blood, or if there's a Crip, or if there's a GD, there's a Vi. You don't know nothing. So how in the hell is anything functioning out here if they don't even know what's going on? You know what I mean? And we sitting back as grown men and we ain't tapping nobody on no shoulder like little homie. That ain't where it's at, man. I get it, you a killer. Really, they shooters, right? These cats are shooters nowadays. They not killers. Not to glorify killing. But it's so much of a difference, man, of how people do things and what's going on, man. So for me, man, I'm just always let these youngsters know, man, like, we can talk about some war stories, but I'm going to tell y'all that shit was bullshit. You know what I mean? I didn't want to lose my homeboy to no murder. You know what I'm saying? That shit hurt. That's the part we don't tell these cats, man. And they grow up numb because they hear these gunshots every day, every night. And they the ones doing them. So they become numb to what's really going on out here. And then, like I said, we sitting back in the cut, allowing this shit. Let's take it back, and I ain't gonna talk too long, but you go back when we was in our 16, 17, 18, you had big homies. if you was a school cat, what they gonna say? Man, get your ass back in there, man. Go. This ain't for you, right? Or if you mad at somebody because they done jumped you and you come back to the hood, get your gun, they like, hey, what you doing, homie? I'm finna go let these. Oh man, come on, let's go. I know big homie over there, man. Let's go talk to him. You had people to interfere. Ain't no interference no more. We done washed our hands and we just allowing this shit to go down and watching these kids kill each other. You know what I mean? Because whether we scared or whether we just like, oh shit, that's what they do. It's their time. You know what I mean? That's lame. It wasn't nobody's time. We just got misdirected. We got directed into a different path from what we should have been. Because this shit, like I said, man, it's tribal, right? And back in those days when they had tribal wars, they didn't kill each other, man. They did kill each other, but it wasn't because I'm just coming to kill you. It was because, hey, this is my land, or these are my folks over here. You came and took our food. You know what I mean? It was for reasons. So I think, man, if we get our mindset right, if us as adult men get our mindset right, and we start making these kids understand what self and assessing look like, you see what I'm saying? Because most of us look in the mirror, bro, and we see a clear image, like that mirror right there, right? But you get a broken mirror, that's the image you should see, because that's all the shit you gotta fix. You ain't no clear image, bro, right? So if we don't fix ourselves, we can't fix these cats, man. So that's what I believe.